Welcome back to this channel. This is Titilola Martins, your host. This is the Right Models channel. This is a channel where you get to have lots of videos that help your marriage, your relationship, be it a man, a woman. And today I'm going to be talking about what I term marriage is seed time and harvest. I realize that a lot of things we do in marriage, a lot of things that happen to us in marriage, a lot of states that we find ourselves in marriage are actually as a result of what seed that we have sown in the past into that relationship. Many of the behaviors you get from your spouse today, from your wife today, from your husband today, are as a result of what you have sown in them. This is not to give you excuse for bad behaviors and say, oh, because you sow it, you are reaping it, then there's nothing that can be done. No, there's still something. The truth is that even if you are there, you feel, oh, I'm doing what I'm doing now because my husband has done this to me, or my wife has done this to me, that's why I'm doing this. Remember, even after doing it, you are still not happy. She is not happy. And since she is not happy, she's going to increase your sorrow, and you in turn increase her sorrow, and both of you are never going to be happy on your life as long as that relationship remains. So of what use? So anyway, we are talking about marriage is what? Seed, time, and harvest. You've got to check what are those things that you see in your marriage today. Before you blame somebody else and say it's because of this, it's because of that, you really need to sit down and check out this video. I'm sure it's going to help you with some points that will really help you to start looking at things in a different direction. Yes. Okay, so again, what we're talking about is what marriage is seed time and harvest. Actually, there are some decisions that we make in marriage. You make a decision, a stand that we take in marriage today. The stand you take today might have a future implication. Most of the times we just want to be happy now, and that's why we just do those things, make those responses. You talk in some ways, you acted in some ways just to be happy at that time, to feel good at that time. But many of the things of those actions, those words have their future implications that are negative, that by the time they even start happening, you will have forgotten that it is what you have done. But I'm sure that a video like this will help. This video will definitely help you. There's times you even get advice from people. Maybe you are feeling somehow, you think you need advice. So those advices that people give you, those counsels that they give you, people will always counsel you or give you advice based on their own experiences or what they did and based on their knowledge and based on their experiences also. And their situation may be, of course, there are peculiar situations. It may not just be directly applicable to yours. So the next time you take an advice from somebody, remember that marriage is seed time and harvest. What will work, their solution may not be your own solution. So even with those counsel that you receive from people, there is a need to bring it home and look at the application. They might be okay, generally speaking, but when it comes to application, the application may be different. When it comes to your marriage, remember, marriage is seed time and harvest. I insist, marriage is seed time and harvest. For instance, a woman that decides to keep malice with her husband because, of course, he has, done what you don't like. I decide, no, I'm not going to be, just let everybody just be on their levels, just the way we put it, just be on your level, let me be on my level. And you start keeping malice. Remember, there is a gap that malice is creating. By the time you are out of your malice, you may not be able to close that gap anymore, or some things might have happened within that gap that they are now going to be the quote and unquote devil that will now be tormenting your marriage. So that malice, for instance, is an action somebody has taken in that relationship, in that marriage, that is to suit them at that time. But from that analogy, look at the long-term effect that it is having. A man that decides, oh, because my wife is not doing this, is not doing that, oh, she's not satisfying me enough in bed, and you decide to look elsewhere to start having an affair, something is going to happen one day that will keep tormenting your relationship. That could be what we will never be able to do away with, that will always torment your relationship even when you stop having the affair. So a lot of things, a lot of decisions we make, a lot of stands we take, I cannot exhaust them. You know, you just ask yourself, the decision you made yesterday, this is a time to reflect. Quickly take a moment, pause this video, reflect, ask yourself, what is that decision you made yesterday, that you made some minutes ago, that stand you took some minutes ago? Consider the future, the possible future consequences. That is the harvest that I am talking about. What you reap is what you sow. You can't keep doing something and it is tormenting your marriage. It is shaking your relationship, making you to feel miserable, making your spouse feel miserable. Nobody is happy. Even the children are not happy in the relationship. You want to continue like that. You're like somebody who is sowing orange and you're expecting an apple. Even though they are both of them are round in shape, it is never going to happen. So you really need to reconsider certain things after what you would just have to reconsider certain things after watching this video. Okay, okay, to help, I just want to bring out some few points that can help you to constantly, that I believe when you practice them, you are going to be sowing consciously, sowing better seeds that will give you better harvest. Take for instance, a woman that has decided, no, even though this marriage is rough, I'm going to stay in it. So far it is not abusive, threatening to life. You decide you want to make out ways to work out, to make the relationship work. It is going to work for you in the future. Yes, it's going to work for you in the future. For instance, many of our mothers, they decide to stay in their husband's houses just because they don't want their children to have brothers, have sisters, knowing fully well the kind of battles that can come even when they are long gone. Yes, that is their own motivation. Yes, and they stay. That is a decision that, take for instance, that hypothetical woman has taken in a relationship. That's a decision, that's a stance she has taken, and definitely she will reap it. By the time our children, our husband is gone, or even if they're not gone, they get to old age, they're doing fine, and the children are peaceful, the family is peaceful, the extended family is peaceful, they don't have anybody having to struggle and make tussles, you know, family tussles. If you have been there, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, some of our parents, our mothers stay in their relationship because of this. I think I'm going somewhere else now, but I'm trying to drive home that point. That decision you are making today, of course, it's got a consequence. That's its own pros and cons. You may feel good at this time, at the time that you're taking the decision, but afterwards, what tendency, what kind of fruit do you think is going to bring to you? I think if you start considering this in your day-to-day activities and dealing with your spouse, things are really going to change. Okay, so what do you do? I want to put it there. I say, what do you do in order to, you know, help yourself? Number one, I'll say, before you take a decision, pray and think through that decision. A situation has occurred in your marriage. Before you just go and start doing something, think, pray, and think through. You've decided, this is what I am going to do. This man is treating me this way, and this is what I am going to do. I'm not saying that you don't have the right. Everybody, you've got the right to do whatever you want to do, yes. But whatever you want to do will give you the future pleasure that you desire. It's another question, I tell you. So, the next time you have to take a decision in your marriage, in your relationship, please, I beg you, have a moment to think. Have a moment to pray and think through. When you pray about it, God will help you in your thinking. He will come in your thinking and give you ways out. Better ways out. You'll be able to dissect, is it good, is it bad, is it this, is it that. Think through, pray and think through that decision. Okay? And number two, I would say, I mentioned it while I was doing the intro. I said, okay, this is seek counsel anyway. It is good to seek counsel when you you are confused, or even if you don't even feel confused, especially when you are confused, don't know what to do, seek counsel. Okay, even when you are not confused, you want to do something, there must be one person out there that that is trusted enough to talk to help you to weigh that decision, that will look at it from another point. What you think is a perfect decision may not be perfect anyway. Okay, but when you have another person to look at it, so you bring in another view. And that is why I say seek counsel from people that are well schooled in that area, one, and that have testimonies in that area. Not just to seek counsel. Don't go to the wrong people to seek counsel. You are a married woman, you are constantly going to people with broken marriages to seek counsel. I'm not sure they will be able to help you well, except they are willing to be to be honest enough to tell you in plain truth their mistakes, and say, oh my dear, I don't want you to go through this mistake. These are the mistakes I made, or these are the things I do, and it never worked. And not everybody is going to be able to do that. So preferably, you should go, when you are seeking counsel, you go to people who are well schooled in that area. In that, for instance, you want to take a financial decision in your marriage, look for people who are well schooled. You want to buy a property, you want to invest, you are thinking, you need to seek counsel from people who are well schooled, not just people who are well schooled in that area, and not just well schooled, people who have got testimonies in that area. They can help you. So remember, what we are talking about is marriage is what? Seed time and harvest. It is what you sow. That thing you are going through in your marriage now, I'm sorry if this hurts you. You are responsible no matter what. I'm not saying blame yourself. There's a difference between blaming yourself and taking responsibility. Okay, so the bottom line is you look at the long-term goal, the short-term. Yes, in the short term, you may just feel satisfied that you have done what you have done. But just before you do it, think, what is the possibility? If I'm to get a car now, if I'm to get, okay, I want to change my car, I have school fees to pay. And what should I do? You might think that, oh, that is so obvious, you should go for school fees. Yes, but to some people, it is not going to come so cheap like that. Think about it. If I'm going to change my car now, and I'm not going to be able to pay school fees, and my children are out of school, constantly sent back from school, I mean, denied access into, things, you need to look at it, of what good is that to me. And yeah, there are so many things. I just gave example. I just gave that as an example. But the bottom line is, you may feel good buying that car, but afterwards, after a month, 2, and your children are sent back home, and you are not able to provide for the family, just because you had to buy, get a form of pleasure for yourself. You need to think before you act. Very, very important. Remember, marriage is what? Seed time and harvest. Marriage is seed time and harvest. And another thing is, when you are taking decision, you need to ask yourself this. Anyway, we are always taking decision every time. What I'm doing now is a decision. Okay? But before you act on that decision, ask yourself, on what value? Is it a value-based decision? You must take value-based decision, not emotion-based decision. When you act based on emotion is a very bad leader. I tell you, when you are always being led by your emotion, then you whether good or bad emotion, you are heading for the rock. I tell you, you are heading for the rock. You must be taking value-based decision. Value-based decision, and you must also check your values, because if your values are wrong, you are going to be taking wrong decisions. If you are so materialistic, it's a value. If you are so materialistic, probably from that analogy I gave earlier, somebody who is so materialistic would rather buy a car than attend to his children's education. So check your values. If you are constantly finding yourself in trouble, it's a function, it's telling us something about your value. So you need to recheck your value. But most importantly, I would say take value-based decision. And when you take value-based decision, at least you'll be able to take responsibility. And I will say this, see, some of the things that we see in our children, when you see a particular behavior in your children, I do this to myself. When I see a particular behavior in my children, I question my own parenting style. I take responsibility. It might have been as a result of my parenting style. Okay, if my children are doing so well and everybody is praising them, and I feel it's as a result of my parenting style, the wisdom God has given me, then if they are not doing it so well also, I must be able to take responsibility. Sometimes those things you see in your children, those traits you see in your children, in fact not sometimes, they are a reflection of your parenting style. So if you are saying wrong things, it is the seed that you have sown. If you are saying wrong things, wrong traits in them, then start consciously building, sowing some conscious seed that will give you a different testimony. I'm telling you, until you do that, you only continue to complain and complain. And your complaint is not going to get you out of it. There is the need for everyone to take responsibility for their life. That man that is treating you that way today might be as a result of your nagging, of your abusive, your mouth that is always running. When you are always running mouth on your husband, putting him down, castigating him, telling him, oh, is this what your mates are doing? And you expect such a man to extend love to you. My darling, it's difficult and it's almost impossible in some situations. Except that man is truly Holy Ghost helped. So you really need to, that is the seed that you have sown in the man, and that is why you are getting that. And it's not just about the woman, the man also. The woman that you have never respected, you're always talking down on her in the public. I'm sure you're not going to get the best of that woman. So everybody should sit down and consider it. Whatever I call you to challenge, this video is calling everybody to challenge today that what seed are you sowing in your marriage? You can tell me I'm sowing good seed. No, that is not how to know whether you are sowing good seed. Check the present situation in your marriage. Check the how happy you are in your marriage. It's a pointer to the seeds that you are sowing in that marriage. What are you getting from your husband? What kind of attitude are you getting from your wife? What kind of attitude are you getting from your husband? I'm telling you, if you can change yours, that is sowing different seeds. You are going to see that man, you're going to see that woman begin to give you some other parts, sides of them, and you will be wondering, did somebody change my wife overnight? No, it's still the same woman, but you are now bringing out the good in them because you have changed your style. There is a need. I call you to challenge. I call everybody to challenge. Marriage can be sweeter. Marriage can be better than what it is for you today if you can decide to start sowing good seed. If you can decide to start weighing your action, to start weighing your decision before you get on the road to implement them. There are so many decisions that we make that if you are just at the time to consider the pros and cons very well, we will have taken a different decision apart. We will have gone on a different path apart from what we are doing now. Marriage is seed time and harvest. You can't keep hurting a woman and expect that woman will make you happy. You are never going to be happy with that woman. So therefore, if you can just start making that woman happy, I'm sure you are sowing happiness in her. You are going to get it back. Remember, hurting people will always hurt others. Probably that man is hurting you today because you are always hurting him. You don't believe in his vision. And you show it that you don't believe in his vision. And you want to eat out of that. Excuse me? No. You've got to show him support. You've got to show that woman support that she needs. And the security she needs from you as a man. Marriage is seed time and harvest. You've got to make your marriage to work. Nobody is going to work it for you. Nobody is going to sow the seed for you. You are the one to sow the seed. And you are going to get the harvest. Definitely. I'm sure I've spoken some words to you today. It's so much, I don't know. I feel so heavy in my heart. I want to pour out a lot to somebody out there. Your marriage can be better. Your marriage can be sweeter. If you're having difficulties in your marriage, seek for counsel. It means you are not constantly having difficulties. It means you are not able to help yourself anymore. And I'm sure there will be videos on this channel that will help you. Marriage is seed time and harvest. Those things you are complaining about, they are actually as a result of things you have done in time past. So if you want new things, then start sowing new seeds. And I'm sure you are going to be happy forever after.